Today we're going to go over how to set up a fluid bag for subcutaneous administration to your pet. In a separate video, we'll go over the actual administration. So when you receive Subcu fluids for your pet, oftentimes this is for kitties with kidney problems. It can be dogs or cats who have concerns, health concerns that may cause them to become dehydrated. Oftentimes we'll send the fluids home already set up for you if we know that this is going to be a short-term prescription. However, if your pet's going to be on a long-term prescription or if they're going to be going through their bags fairly quickly, we will send you home just with the items you need to set it up on your own. That way the fluids stay fresh. So when you get a prescription for these, you'll have a bag of fluids wrapped up. You will have what's called a veno set, and this is the line that connects the fluids to the needle to go into your pet. You will have several needles. Oftentimes you'll have anywhere between 5 and 10, occasionally more, whatever's going to last you for your fluid bag. Most often you're going to be sent home with 16 gauge needles. These are, 18 gauge needles. These are the green ones. The gauge denotes how wide they are, and the smaller the gauge, the wider the needle is. Sometimes we will use 20 gauge needles. The advantage to the 18 gauge needles is that the fluids will be administered faster. Some people think that, oh, it's a smaller needle, it's going to hurt less. Really, it's not going to make a huge difference in how they feel the brief poke from the needle. And with the 18, it'll go much faster. So I will put these out of our way right now. And then for regular fluid administration, typically we're sending you home with a sharps container so you can properly dispose of your needle. When we send you with the sharps container, you bring this back when it's full or when you're done, and we'll dispose of it. It is hard to find places that will take sharps containers kind of out in the public, so be sure you bring it back to us. So to start with, we're going to go ahead and open the fluid bag. There's a couple little tears along here. And we'll tear it up the side. Most of the time you're getting a liter of fluids. And when you look down here, there's 2 ports. Okay, occasionally these can be a little different looking depending upon the brand, but typically you're going to have 2 ports. The best thing to do is to hang your fluids. It's going to be easier to actually start the veno set, connect the veno set. I'm going to start with the fluids being low down so we can access it. I'm going to hang them here. You can use hooks on a door. You can use wire hangers. The higher the fluids are when you're administering them, the faster they'll go. So if you have a point where you can put your fluids up high and your pet down low, as long as your veno set reaches, again, the administration is going to go quicker because gravity is working in your favor. But to set this up, all right, let's put our fluids here. I also recommend putting a date so that you remember which bag you opened when. Okay, so I'm going to put the date on there. And for the veno set, I'll open this up. And this is sterile when you open it. Okay. So what you want to do, there's several clamps on the veno set. One of them is just a straightforward squeeze clamp like this. Okay. I think to start with, I think it's probably easier to leave this one open when you're first spiking the fluid bag. But when you're actually administering it to your pet, you can decide which clamp is easier for you to control. This is a clamp that has a gradual squeeze. So when it's all the way down, it's completely blocked. But if you're trying to slow the fluids, you just shift that wheel up. Okay, but you do want it closed when you first spike the bag. All right, so what we'll do, this is covered. You see that's pretty sharp. All right, and we are going to take off one of these ports. Like that. All right, so here's your little rubber port. And we are just going to go ahead and put that in the rubber port. Okay, And now we have air here and fluid here. And what we want to do is fill this little area with probably about a third of the way. And there's even a line on here. We want to fill it with fluid. Not all the way though, and you'll see why. So we're going to squeeze this a couple times to displace the air and fill it with the fluids. Okay. So what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to be our window so that we can observe how fast the fluids are entering our pet, or if they're not entering the pet, we will see it at a standstill, okay? Because if you don't have this little window, there is no way really for you to know if your fluids are going through. All right, now that it's spiked, we'll go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and put my needle on. So the needle has a little twisty there. And your Venus set also has a little twisty. And you go like this. There's an extra lure lock to make it secure. All right. And now gravity is going to work with us. And we'll watch the fluid come down. I'm actually going to open, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to open this up so you can see the fluids come out the needle. Okay, so here we go. It's going to run through the line. And as it comes out, there we go. And now I'm going to close it again. Okay? This is easier to close quickly, at least for me, than this one is. But again, you have two choices. Use which one works better for you. And then we'll cap the needle here. So one of the things I want you to watch as you're administering the fluids to your pet, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to have the fluid go into this area right here. Okay. The window we talked about up here, if it's going fast, it's dripping fast. If you notice that it starts to stop, you probably have to reposition your needle, or you have to check your line and make sure it's open. And again, if you want it to go faster, go ahead and raise your fluid bag so gravity is working with you. When you're done administering the fluids to your pet, you want to be sure you put on a new needle. Okay, you don't want to leave a bacteria-ridden needle on the end of your system. And that's it.